Well, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Peter Hopkins, and I want to talk to you tonight about imagining a different future for higher education, specifically the need to give an FU to the old college model. But first, I'm going to talk a little bit about my day job. I am the co-founder of a website called Big Think. We are a knowledge site. We try to accumulate the big ideas and the core skills defining the 21st century as defined by the thinkers who are leading the way in those areas. We define big ideas as ideas of significance, broad relevance, and immediate actionability. And we define core skills as those skills you need to apply them. And it's this notion that in this day and age, you need to be broadly knowledgeable. You need to be able to connect the dots between different things. And yet, in a world where there is so much information, it's very hard to do that. Now, we have come upon a new project, hence my night job. I am the provost of the Floating University. We had the good fortune of meeting an interesting gentleman named Adam Glick, who runs a real estate company in New York called the Jack Parker Corporation. And he's been a big donor and a big critic of higher ed. And he had this idea to create a basically university that would be focused on everything that a real university has a difficult time doing. Hence the Latin tagline here, per ampliora ad altiora, which means basically through breadth to height. And the focus of the Floating University is essentially to explore those ideas that cannot be neatly contained in a single field. These are the ideas that happen to drive the big challenges and big issues of our time. Climate change, poverty. These are things that are not squarely rooted in one single discipline or expertise. And yet, because the college system, because the university system is built around such silos, they have particular challenges in dealing with them. It's a big problem. The driving mission, therefore, is really to challenge students and challenge schools toward the notion that it's more important to learn how to ask the right questions than to find the right answers. And we have heard quite a bit lately about the challenge that we face in our society of one that teaches to the test, is geared toward finding right answers. It's not one that is creative or innovative. Here's some basic stats about our Floating University. 25 days old or thereabouts. Lose track of that sometimes. 0 departments, 0 faculty, 0 degrees, 1 course. What do we offer? We had a lot of round, zero-shaped numbers there. What do we offer? Well, we offer this one course. It's called Great Big Ideas, an entire education while standing on one foot. And dare I say, we believe it does even more than that. We believe it provides the best of an Ivy League education in less than 12 hours. What we have done, what Great Big Ideas is all about, we challenged 12 of the top professors in the world from different fields. And we said, simple challenge, distill your entire field of study into 60 minutes or less and assume the person who is watching it knows nothing about it and will never learn anything about it ever again. Of course, the challenge is to convince them otherwise, but we just don't know. And we have a really interesting array. This is Bill Ackman, the CEO of Pershing Square Capital, who owns about a third of JCPenney, teaching you how to invest. We have the chair of the Department of Philosophy at Yale, Tamar Gendler, who condenses all political philosophy into an hour. And we have a big supporter of big things, perhaps one of the biggest thinkers of all, Larry Summers, talking on. Oh no, that's not what he talks about. That's whoever put this deck together got confused. So the exciting thing about the Floating University, these 12 hours of video in an e-learning platform, is that we've had the opportunity to partner with 3 very elite institutions who have offered this quite radically to their students this semester. We have Yale, Harvard, and Bard participating, and basically what they do is they use it as their e-textbook, and they then professors teach it in seminar discussions, leading discussions around what the students experience at home. And I'm proud to say that it was the most popular course at all 3 campuses during their shopping period. 400 students applied for 15 seats at Yale, 400 at Harvard, 500 at Bard, where there is only 2,000 students. And it was, in absolute terms, the most popular course at Bard. And at Yale and Harvard, there were more students per seats than any other course, the only beaten by Intro to Economics, which is a required course. This is a picture of the first day of classes at Yale. This is when it got moved from a classroom of 20 that could accommodate about 20 to the dining hall. And this is a quote from a student at Yale who unfortunately did not get a seat, much to our chagrin, but then wrote such a smart analysis of what we were doing that we invited him here tonight, and he's with us tonight, Miles. And Miles really examined what we're doing in relation to other efforts like it, and recognized, and I think he's right, that we're both trying to disrupt and sustain. We're both trying to change from the outside and move the bar forward from the inside. So let me talk to you a little bit about exactly how we see that. We see that what the floating university lacks is its greatest asset. As I said, no departments, no silos. No silos, no walls. Walls are very expensive, particularly when they have palm trees around them and jacuzzis. This is a big problem. We have spent a lot of money in this country making college comfortable. We have spent far less money and good thinking in making it effective for our moment. No walls equals no boundaries. We are trying to push the idea of learning communities. This is a notion that Harvard, Yale, and Bard and you can learn together. Why not? Why can't you be in a community? You're in a community to talk about politics on Huffington Post. You're certainly in any number of communities on Facebook, any number of circles on Google+. You should be in learning communities. We are inverting the old professor-student model where a tweed-clad gentleman stands in the front of the room and reads from notes that have probably weathered at the edges. We are bringing the professor closer to the students, and we also are trying to realize a new model. No boundaries equals new models. These are some stats that we're all familiar with. Many of us in this room are probably carrying a lot of educational debt. And the last number is the most deceptive because the average student debt is $25,000 upon graduation. And that includes both those who paid nothing because their parents paid the full ride and those who have received substantial financial aid. That means there's a vast middle who are carrying vast amounts of debt. And nothing is more constraining to your choices, to what you do and how you think about the world than having to pay down enormous amounts of debt. And the model that we'd like to put forward is one called free. Go back to that. Free for all students. Our model basically says if your school offers the floating university for credit and you are seated in one of those seats that's receiving credit, we will give it to you for free and the school for free. The expectation is that the fact that you are taking it for credit means that you will contribute more, you will be expected to engage, your participation is being monitored and evaluated in real significant terms. And therefore, those who join this from the outside, whether they're doing it just to audit it as an outsider or they in turn are looking for some of the certification through badges and other mechanisms that we're leveraging, you're going to make their experience better, and therefore their subsidizing, their providing scholarship for you helps to complete the circle. And we think that this is a very powerful new model, one that really takes this pay-it-back notion of alumni donation and really tightens it up and makes it real time. Now, before I play a little clip from what we're up to, I want to leave you with a few big questions in the spirit of the talk. First, what business does a private enterprise have in developing courses for non-profit educational institutions? It's the first time Harvard and Yale have ever taught the same course together. It's the first time they've ever taken a course from an outside entity. It's a legitimate question. What business do we have? What does the unbundling of top professors from their schools portend for the future of the academy? The talent is leaving. Anyone has access to them and they can do what they want. How will democratizing access change the way we measure elite education? And finally, how should education be measured, period? And now with that, I would like to show you and welcome you to the Floating University.
Hi, my name is Larry Summers.
My name is Steve Pinker.
My name is Tamar Gendler.
My name is Leon Botstein.
My name is Professor Michio Kaku.
I think information technology will make a very big difference in education.
Great thinkers think not only about questions central to the discipline, but also about how those questions relate to the fields around them.
What I want to do today is talk about the field of psychology.
We physicists invented the laser beam. We invented the transistor. We helped to create the first computer.
Economics is, it's about making money, but it's about human behavior in general.
There's something special, something weird almost, about groups of individuals, about collectivities, something weird that you cannot see if you just study individuals.
The stock market in the short term is what we call a voting machine. It really represents the whims of people in the short term.
This is a population pyramid. It's one of the basic descriptive tools of demography, and you should understand what it is.
For the past 24 centuries, very few thinkers in the Western tradition have been able to avoid having to come at some point to grips with Socrates.
Any sentence that you produce or understand is a brand new combination produced for the first time, perhaps in your life, perhaps even in the history of the species.
But much of art, and much of the art that we care about, responds to something other than the linguistic.
There's an excitement about scientific discovery, which is like practically nothing else I've had in life.
Thank you very much.